Well, some time has passed and the weather is cooler, the days are shorter. The spiders have reclaimed their space, which I'm going to have to evict again. But the goal now, this phase, this stage, is I want to properly clean and paint the engine bay before I stick this nice, pretty engine back in. I've waffled back and forth on how much do I do? Do I get it to where I can drive it, or do I take my time and you know do it right with while the engine's out? Because I'm not going to take the engine out again if I don't have to. So it's easier to do a lot of this stuff. And so what I want to do is put the engine back in it and drive it. But what I know I probably should do, because I don't have a schedule or time other than my own personal timelines, is do it right, clean it, paint it, replace what I need to replace while the engine's out. I don't want the engine to sit too long because I want to get it in and crank it and run it. But at the same time, like, I mean, it's never going to be this easy to clean the engine bay. So yeah, I'm going to just do what I can. I'm going to start the process. I think I'm going to take off the fenders. I'm going to remove the front support. I don't really want to take these off, but I do know, like, if I want to truly paint the firewall, um, it wraps around here, and I think I'm just gonna tape. I'm gonna like tape it all off, and I'm gonna paint it right. More to take apart, which means more to put back together, which is fine. But I think that would make me feel better as I clean. Now I might get into it, and I might realize I've got to remove more things to remove more things, and I don't want to get that deep in it. And I'll just do what I can. But I think what would really make me feel better is if everything in here were cleaned and painted and ready for an engine. So I'm just gonna start chipping away, see what I can get done, and hopefully it's entertaining and educational. So also, this is something that's less stressful. My boys are probably gonna get involved, so you'll probably see them at some point. But let's get to it. All right, so that was actually fairly painless. The only bolts that were the most difficult were these right here. These two bolts right here are just tucked in there, and they're hard to get to because of the headlight housing. You could probably make it easier by taking out the horn right here, but this bolt is either not this original bolt or stripped. So I decided not to booger with it, and I just did it slow. So that was actually, it's not as bad as I was expecting it to be. So now I'm going to get all this rat's nest out of here. I'm going to do the other side, and then I'm going to take the front off. But first, I'm going to go get some lunch, and I'm also going to change shirts because they got hot, and going to keep moving. So, as I was cleaning these, and I had them on the ground, there was a colony of ants that decided to move in about an hour and a half. So the trim on the other side of the fender, they just got under that trim, and as I was spraying it off, they started leaving, which is great, but also they were covered in ants. So I literally had to move them and just get a broom and basically hit the trim, and just ants were falling out everywhere. So goes the project. Anyways, that being said, this isn't going to be perfect. My goal isn't to make these, brand new looking, just better looking. So I'm gonna get the blower and try and get as many of these ants and bugs off as I can. I got more dirt on them now. Literally just clean these. But I was in a mad dash to get the ants out. So what are you gonna do? So I'm going to let these dry a little bit more, and then I'm gonna start putting some light coats of primer on and try and get at least some paint down today, and we'll go from there. Okay, so it's a couple weeks later, and I haven't done anything since the last check-in other than I finished painting the transmission. I also dropped that transmission on my foot, and I would not recommend it. We thought my foot was broken. Fortunately, it was just some soft tissue damage. Still recovering, but lesson learned, don't do that. This is the first weekend I've had since then to work on it, and conditions are perfect. It's about 90% humidity and around 60 degrees. So paint should be great. Funny enough, as I was cleaning this, when it's wet and clean, I'm like, dang, it looks pretty good. Maybe I don't want to paint it. But I think to make it match everything else, I'm going to paint it. And you'll notice I started with the firewall. So I was thinking through all the things I need to do this right, at least the frame. And it's just a lot of work, and I didn't want to. It's easier for me to replace something than to remove everything and then try and put something back in, because I'm trying to keep track of all the processes in my head. I'm already worried about all the things I've taken apart and having to remember how to do that. I'm not going to worry about the trans tunnel and much of the cab itself, at least from the frame, in between the frame rails. It actually looks pretty good. It was just dirty, and so I am gonna paint under here where it's rusted. But first, I'm gonna paint the firewall, and I'm gonna get that done. And while that's drying, I've got to paint the fan as well and clean the clutch up. It gets dark here about 4:20, p.m. now, so I don't have a ton of daylight, which means I just can't get a lot done in a day. I can't leave it out. I got to push it back and all the things. No garage, same old story. So I'm going to focus on the firewall, and then once I get that done, I'm going to focus on replacing the things that I want to replace. And as I'm going to paint the frame, clean and paint the frame, but I'm just going to have to paint what I miss when I replace the thing I'm replacing. For example, I'm going to replace all these fuel and brake lines, but I'm not going to take them off now. The time it takes. So when I go to replace them, I'm going to clean and paint. You're not really going to see it anyways, but I want it to be painted to protect from rust and things like that. Steering and everything like that, I plan to replace all that, but I'm not going to take all that off to paint the frame. When I go to replace that, I'll hit it. Same thing with on the firewall itself, the brake booster. I am going to replace all of that, but I'm not going to worry about taking it off right now. So when I do that, I'll just very carefully prime, paint, and then put the new one on. So yeah, I think it's still going to look way better. That's the update, and going to keep painting, keep time lapsing, enjoy watching paint dry. So I'll give you an update whenever we get to that point. Sounds good. Okay. Well, as you can see, the frame and the firewall are painted. I went with a matte rubber, matte black rubber finish for the frame. And honestly, I didn't paint the frame because of how I wanted it to look. I painted it because of rust. And so I didn't get all the grease off, which is okay because grease is a pretty good rust prohibitor. So, but like I said earlier in the video, the goal was to get the spots that are really hard to get with the engine in. That's going to wrap up this bit. Feel pretty good about it. I got a couple more things to do and clean up, but yeah, painted, and what do you think? So yeah, that'll be it in the next video. Hopefully we'll be replacing some parts and we'll go from there. Say bye.